Spark Books here. Today, I'm going to explain the book, Reclaiming Conversation, by Turkle. Take care, enjoy the book, and have a nice day. Reclaiming Conversation 2015 reflects on how we interact with one another in our increasingly digitized world. Constant interruptions, leaving messages unanswered, and lack of interest have all become the norm in a world rife with mobile devices and screens. But is this what we want? And if not, what can we do about it? Key idea number 1. Social ties can only be made in person. After sitting down for a drink with a friend, she pulls out her phone. Offended? Having a phone at the table isolates us from others around us, regardless of mood. Even a silenced phone impacts how we talk to friends, according to studies. We avoid difficult or emotional topics since we know we may be required elsewhere. Phones on tables make people feel less connected. Digital media is preventing us from creating strong emotional relationships and empathy. One study examined college students' face-to-face and internet communication. Student-to-student communication formed the strongest emotional bond. Face-to-face communication is better than digital since it connects our words and feelings. Face-to-face communication allows for more attention than Skype. Students will go online or watch videos while Skyping, which they wouldn't do in person. These novel interactions may have dire repercussions. Studies demonstrate that college students today show 40% less empathy than 20 years ago. Key idea number 2. Media interferes with solitude and reflection, which are essential for mental wellness. When did you last spend an evening on the internet feeling progressively unsatisfied with yourself? Recently. Why does this unnerve us? We're stealing solitude. Surfing the web alone is different from isolation and reflection. Developmental psychologists say our deepest ideas and feelings only emerge without distractions. Real solitude engages the brain's meaning and identity center. Sadly, digital natives need to communicate their emotions online to feel like themselves. Self-reflection requires solitude. We share our own sentiments and reflect on our lives in notebook. When we post to an online newsfeed, we're less honest and enter a performance mode. Solitude saves empathy. 2. Susan Cain's Quiet makes a compelling case for introvert seclusion. Being alone helps everyone sympathize. We can truly see and listen to others when we are comfortable with ourselves. Solitude frees our brains to explore and create, according to psychologists. Key idea number 3. Phone-obsessed parents risk neglecting their children. Have you seen a restaurant parent turn their wailing baby's face away from the table? It's inappropriate for infants. What about calling instead of answering your child's question? That's the same. Children learn from parents' interactions. Neuroscientist Nicholas Carr thinks that what we do with our brains, especially as children, shapes them. Thus, if youngsters don't have attentive parents to teach them proper facial expressions and speech, they won't learn how to conduct productive adult discussions. Worse, while adults may relearn these skills after too much media exposure, children who never learned them cannot. Distracted parents fail to teach empathy. Jenny Radesky, a pediatrician, studied 55 caregivers and their children at restaurants. Radesky found that caregivers use their phones more than their kids. This is harmful because youngsters shut down emotionally and cease interacting when their parents ignore them. Ignoring and dismissing impairs empathy. Thus, even with cranky teenagers, parents should put their phones aside. Adolescents seek attention, don't give it back. Normal. The author interviewed university student Amelie, who became angry at her parents when they used their phones yet rejected them, or checked her phone when they wanted to hug her. She hated the family's no phones at the table rule, but she was glad her parents upheld it. Key idea number 4. Social media, who defines relationship. When did you last use Facebook or other social media to avoid boredom or anxiety? More than just being connected to others can calm us. Social media lets us connect without showing our weakness. To comprehend digital interactions, the author interviewed people. Texting relaxed Rona, a high school senior. She meant relaxed because her friends responded to her texts immediately. Texting provided her time to write something that made an impression and prevented her from displaying vulnerability. Young folks disliked phone conversations since they couldn't self-edit. Many responded to phone calls with emails to avoid real-time contact. To make matters worse, social media interaction is now expected beyond just having a Facebook account. We should now be available 24/7. Middle schoolers mentioned being on call for classmates and sleeping with their phones in case of an emergency. These unwritten norms are redefining friendship expectations on social media. The dean of Holbrook School in upstate New York asked 60 students what they appreciated most in a friend, and most responded someone who made them laugh or joyful. 3 cited trust, care, or kindness. Key idea number 5. Online love might be delusional. Have you been attracted by someone's gorgeous, smart online profile only to be disappointed when you meet them? One of many ways the internet may mess with our heads. Online dating matches don't make us as happy as we imagine. In a famous study on choice and satisfaction, participants were given a narrow or wide selection of chocolates and asked to rate their satisfaction. Result: chocolate tasted better to those with fewer options. Psychologist Barry Schwartz examined our strange relationship with freedom and choice. We think more choices make us happier. However, fewer choices make us happier. Online dating sites, with their many options, can make us miserable. Online dating has set new norms in non-communication and overwhelms us. Online discussion partners typically cease responding when interest wanes. This is rude in person but acceptable online. In this virtual environment, we become isolated and dissatisfied instead of empathic and connected. According to research, digital media hinders our patience and empathy, which are needed to establish actual relationships. Instead, it makes us mindlessly swipe. Key idea number 6. Digital devices are ubiquitous at work and school, causing harm. You check your newsfeed on your phone during a boring class. Multitasking while watching the lecture is fine, right? Multitasking like this affects efficiency and performance. Unfortunately, multitasking provides us a neurochemical high that makes us feel efficient. Humans cannot multitask. If we transition between tasks, our brain fatigue and our performance suffers. However, a 2012 research found that 90% of college students texted in class. However, some of us have seen the downsides of distraction. Zadie Smith credits her internet blocking software in the acknowledgments of her latest novel. Technology can also lower intelligence and critical thinking. Doctors are increasingly using digital databases to get rapid diagnosis ideas. This technology has its merits, but as we export more knowledge into our devices, the desire to grow our own brains tends to fade. Students take notes in class. They type what the teacher says without revising or examining the text on their laptops. Harvard Law professor Carol Steiker requires her students to take notes by hand to help them reflect and retain information. Key idea number 7. The internet has eroded our privacy and political engagement. Are online call to actions enticing? Can you really halt child slavery and overthrow a despot over your morning coffee? Clicking links isn't political participation. The Lord's Resistance Army's Joseph Kony appeal is an example. Online evidence of Kony using child soldiers, armed groups in Africa sparked outrage. Online activists sent emails requesting signatures and donations for the Kony campaign. They received signs with Kony's likeness to display in public at a specific time to raise awareness. Many clicked the link, signed the petition, and donated. However, few people attended their public sign setting. Thus, signing an online petition does not imply actual engagement. The internet is destroying our privacy and cause engagement. Before online streaming, one court wanted to utilize information about a man renting pornography from a video store. However, the man's private rights trumped the case's importance. We trade privacy for convenience by using internet services and checking boxes for terms and conditions we never read. Our location matters too. Loot, a new app, uses GPS to show friends' locations. Online pals, who may not be close, can track your every step, reducing privacy. Governments and companies can also hack that data. Key idea number 8. Digital media issues can reveal society's needs. Recall your previous vacation. Leave your laptop or iPhone? Did you choose Wi-Fi free lodging? It's scary to unplug, but it can lead to tranquility and timelessness. We all need creativity, so taking a digital media sabbatical can help. Vannevar Bush, a prominent engineer, envisioned that technology will allow humans to do what they do best: slow creative thinking in 1945. We can still make this happen if we use technology wisely. Don't respond to stressful emails with extensive responses. You can say you'll consider it and respond later. Play your electric guitar or paint to relax your work brain. The internet also reminds us to argue and discuss problems. We likewise avoid controversial topics in real life. In the US, Republicans and Democrats avoid discussing issues with people of differing political viewpoints to prevent conflict. We only share ideas we think our friends and acquaintances would like on our online news feeds. Daring to be controversial? What if you turned off your computer and discussed immigration with your neighbor? If we take the time to think about it, we can solve online privacy difficulties. Like attorneys and doctors, internet corporations might be held accountable for data security. Digital technologies are useful, but we must learn to utilize them without losing our ability to think profoundly and creatively, relate to others via true discourse, and experience empathy and love.
To view more content like this, subscribe. Don't forget to like and turn on notifications. The channel really benefits from it. I appreciate you being here.